From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you into this Friday's edition of For the People for an October the 27th, 2017. Here in Tampa, Florida, we have been enjoying some great fall weather, and that's going to go by. It's going to be back up in the 80s, but we've been enjoying waking up to the 50s and 60s and 70-something days and low humidity, and it's going to creep back into the 80s. We're going to get some rain, and maybe next week, not as hot, but definitely not into the 90s. But, yeah, we've been enjoying it. The nice crisp air is just great. The dogs love it. I love it. Still walking out in a T-shirt, but a little nippy. And I swear it could have been my imagination, but I thought I saw, a little condensation coming out of my mouth in the cool air. Is that even possible if it's not, like, frozen air? That was the hot air, right, coming out of my mouth. That's how powerful it is. That's why I need a talk show. But it's, for here, for Tampa, 50 degrees, it's cold. We're reaching for a sweater or something like that. But we like it. We welcome it. So humid usually. And I'm from the Northeast, so I really appreciate it. Got my coffee at hand here, and what we're talking about this hour is something that affects every single one of us. Now, in Tampa, we have a serial killer, possibly. He's terrorized an area in Tampa Bay called Seminole Heights and has the whole community on edge because we don't know when he's going to strike again. I mean, it's under surveillance. It's probably the safest Seminole Heights has been in some time. You got a great police presence. You got police officers telling parents, please come out, bring your kids out trick-or-treating. It's okay. We'll even bring them door to door. I don't see this guy, or maybe it's a serial lady, but we don't see this individual coming out, and this individual's killed people when they were alone. At bus stops, but all alone. That's what they had in common, the three that were all shot and killed. So, I don't know if this person's still in the community, but they do have a person of interest. And our police chief, very concerned because, it's been out, 3 weeks? And plenty of people have seen this, but my thinking is not everybody watches TV. That's just a thought.
We're not saying that this person is the suspect, but why after this long, we've had this video out there for so long, why have they not come forward?
I don't know. That the person is suspect, but scared. May have seen something and wish they didn't see something, or maybe perhaps that individual is actually indeed, in fact, the suspect. So that would explain easily why the person didn't come forward. They just don't have an accurate facial recognition. They can't see the face. You can see a gentleman in a hoodie, and that's it. The reason I'm bringing this up, first story, is something that just got me boiling this morning when I was listening to my radio, very well-known morning show here in Tampa Bay, and I'm not going to shout them out because I don't think they're responsible for it, and I'm not going to mention their names, but if I say well-known morning show, it's been around for a long time. Anybody in the Bay Area knows what station, but I'm friends with at least one of the co-hosts, been there forever. So I don't want to shout them out, but it's one of the advertisers on the radio station, and they're exploiting big time for a security company, the event in Seminole Heights, and I think it's just bad taste because they bring up killing and killing and killing and if you had a security system, you don't have to worry about the killer, coming to your house. And it's just, it was just terrible. I was thinking about playing it, but I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. It's just really bad taste. And can I just do that again? Bad taste. Bad stuff. Because of the fact the killer didn't break into anybody's house. It had nothing to do with home invasion. People were out and about on the city streets waiting for a bus, just hanging out, on the street, but alone. That's what they all three had in common. There was nobody around. But it had nothing to do with home invasion. But then I got thinking a little bit more about security systems in people's houses. Because a lot of people still, it amazes me, don't have them. And I don't want to tell you to put complete trust in your security system unless you have a wireless system. Wireless. And a lot of the newer ones are. The more research that I do into security systems and for premeditated break-ins, okay, they usually cut the phone lines and they usually cut the wires in the side of the house so the system can't dial up the security system, the company, but they get enough time to be able to break in, get in the time the police arrive. So wireless is always the best if you're thinking about a system. So I'm going to go over some things that you may want to think about when robbers, if you will, i.e. burglar, are wanting to burglarize your house. And it's not really one of these subjects you probably want to think about this day. But then again, if the stuff in your house matters and your family matters to you, this is a conversation that you need to probably have with yourself. So the purpose pretty much is to just give you some factoids and some knowledge so you can act upon those, because it could possibly save you from an invasion and possibly an assault. And you don't want to be robbed. So it's not a very, very, very fun thing for that to happen. But you may be surprised to know that in America, a home is burglarized 4 times a minute in about once every 15 seconds. That stat, I know it's a surprise, but it's true. 4 times a minute, about every 15 seconds, some home in America, somebody's breaking into. And that's according to the FBI. Now, these are sobering statistics that should make any of us living here in the great U.S. of A. stop and think just for a moment about our own home's level of security. So this horrible spot that I heard on the station, gave me some fodder for a show. That's usually how the best shows happen. And I'm glad that this happened, because this is an opportunity to possibly get you ready just in case. And all of us are susceptible, every single one of us. You say, well, somebody's always home. That doesn't matter. Now, it is recommended, folks, that most break-ins, by the way, happen in the front door. The front door. If you have an older door, you got a flimsy door, you have a weak door, you want to make sure that you replace the door. That's most robbers say they came through the front door. It was easy to kick in the door. If you have a strong door, you want to make sure, without a doubt, you have a quality deadbolt on your door. It's important because it can literally stop them in their tracks. And other things like floodlights, you got one of those, security cameras, that's a good one. That's a really good one. And maybe have a little sticker here and there around the property saying surveillance. Security cameras are a great deterrent because they're wireless and they're recording. And they can also throw them off their game. And probably not too interested in some of the complications like being identified. Now, some of them might have sheets, stockings like they do bank robberies. It might have a disguise that might have a mask on. Who knows? But, these things really do count. It's the little things that count. Like making sure that you don't hide your key under the doormat. Believe it or not, a lot of people still do that. Thieves know this. Or leave your phone book sitting on your doorsteps for days or weeks, despite not being the sharpest tool in the shed. But they'll look for these telltale signs that possibly has their guard down. Some of you are very overly confident that you leave your doors open. I've been doing it for years. It's all right. Nobody's going to break into my house. And then you hear Eugene got broke into. I'm not making fun of your southern accent. I just like doing accents. I got friends from all over the United States, and they have all different kinds of it. That was pretty good, though, right? You like that? Yeah, I know it was. You don't say. And they don't always talk like that. They just don't. You know what they'll say, though? You ain't from around here, are you? He says, man, what is in your coffee, Mr. Allen, today? I should have saved that for Wednesday, right? We call it Wacky Wednesdays. Yeah. But anyway, the door, okay? 33% of burglars gain access to your home through that door. That means, of course, that your front door is likely to be the main target of any forced entry. As such as having a hollow front door is like an invited invasion to kick down the door and barge right in. Old weak doors are the same thing. They're easy for a burglar to kick in, and that's obviously not something that you don't want to happen. I know you may love the door, might be attached to the door, but maybe it's time to replace your flimsy door. You need a door that can withstand some force. We're talking about a solid wooden door, maybe a metal door such as steel. Now, I've looked at articles on exterior doors, home security, and complete buying guides and all that stuff. You want to check with your local retailer that sells doors, and you tell them what you're trying to do. You don't have to spend necessarily an arm and a leg, but yeah, front and back doors. You want whatever entryways, the doors. And it reminds me that I've read that the garages were another thing where it's easy to open the door, or people leave their garage doors open. You open it, you kind of take a walk down, you take a jog, don't close the garage door, or they can go right into your house because you might have left the door open, and then it's easy to kick that door down to go into the kitchen with that entryway into the house with that door. Definitely is not reinforced, so that's easy. But just some things to talk about. And for some of you, you're like way ahead of the curve. You're like, I got this. Now, like I say, burglars, they do cut wires. So you want to make sure. Yeah, it's an interesting statistic that 25% of burglars will attempt to disarm any kind of wiring. 25%. These are crime statistics from the FBI and law enforcement. So yeah, they try to tinker with the attachment to your phone, home security system of any kind. If a burglar was to do something like this, we're talking about premeditated act that puts you and your family at risk. So we're recommending a wireless home security system of some kind. Like I say, there's a plethora of smart devices that are great smart home security systems that you can find. And you just got to make sure that you're protected, folks. You don't want to allow them to set foot on your property without you being notified on your phone, at which point you should immediately call the police. That's how smart some of these smart systems are. Look into it, and they're a whole lot cheaper than you could ever imagine. But connected to your smartphone. You ever see the doorbell where you can see who's what are they? The ladies there, they're hanging out together, and goes, "You nitwits, get off my yard." I'm like, yeah, that's the language I would use, and that would scare them off. But the floodlight comes on, and there's a video that starts rolling, and then you